95% of the Pacific Ocean floor remains unexplored. No one knows what lies down there. And what little we have found so far is the stuff of our worst nightmares. We're talking about the largest and deepest ocean on the planet, an abyss that, at its deepest point, the Mariana Trench, plunges almost 11,000 meters below the surface. 11 kilometers of absolute darkness, where the pressure crushes submarines like soda cans, the temperature hovers near freezing, and sunlight ceased to exist long ago. And yet, down there is life. Creatures that shouldn't exist. The question isn't whether there are monsters in the depths of the Pacific. The question is, how many of them we haven't yet discovered. Part 1. Where darkness begins. To understand what lives in the depths of the Pacific, you first have to understand how the ocean works. It's not a uniform mass of water. It's a world divided into layers, like the levels of a video game, and each level you descend is darker, colder, and more terrifying than the last. The first 200 meters are where sunlight reaches. It's where dolphins swim, where tourists dive. It's the ocean we know, but beyond 200 meters, everything changes. We enter the mesopelagic zone and then the bathypelagic zone. Here, true darkness begins. Imagine a place where all light has been extinguished. Wherever you look, there is only an endless void of frozen water. Now, imagine that in that void, a flash appears. A tiny point of blue light floating in the darkness. It looks like a star. You approach. And then that flash opens a mouth full of needle-sized teeth. That's the viperfish, Chaliotis sloani. This predator measures barely 30 centimeters, but it has fangs so long they don't fit inside its mouth. They protrude from its jaw like transparent daggers, curved backwards so that any prey that enters can never escape. And what's truly sinister is that it doesn't chase its victims. It uses bioluminescence, light-producing organs distributed throughout its body, to create a glowing lure at the tip of a modified dorsal spine. In a world of total darkness, that glow is irresistible. Small fish approach, thinking they've found food. The last thing they see is a flash before those teeth snap shut around them. But the viperfish is just the gateway. About 900 meters away lives a creature whose scientific name sounds like it came from a medieval grimoire, Vampiroteuthis infernalis. Translated from Latin, it means the vampire squid of hell, and the name is no exaggeration. The vampire squid from hell isn't technically a squid or an octopus. It's something in between, a living fossil that has existed unchanged for 300 million years, older than the dinosaurs. It has the largest eyes of any animal relative to its body size, designed to capture every last photon of light. But what truly sends shivers down your spine is its cape. Between its tentacles is a membrane that, when extended, literally resembles Dracula's cape. When threatened, it wraps itself in this membrane, becoming a dark sphere covered in spines. And, if the danger persists, it shoots out a cloud of bioluminescent mucus that confuses the predator as it vanishes into the darkness. It doesn't use ink like normal squid, it uses light. Speaking of using darkness as a weapon, the black dragonfish, Idiocanthus atlanticus, is a predator that has achieved near-perfect stealth. Its skin is so pitch black that it absorbs 99.5% of the light that touches it. This makes it virtually invisible. Even if another bioluminescent fish illuminates the area, the dragonfish reflects nothing. It's a ghost, a snake-like hole in the fabric of the ocean. Beneath its chin hangs a luminous lure that glows softly, like a fisherman waiting for someone to bite. When prey approaches, the attack is instantaneous. But perhaps the most chilling creature in this area isn't a predator. The Atolla jellyfish, when caught by a predator, activates what scientists call the deep-sea burglar alarm. Its entire body lights up in a spiraling pattern of blue light that spins like a police siren. That luminous scream isn't meant to scare off its attacker. It's meant to attract something larger that can devour its prey. It's shouting in the language of the abyss, saying, "Food here, come." It's an act of calculated desperation. And it works, a fact that should send shivers down your spine. In this part of the ocean, it's estimated that 90% of all organisms produce their own light. That means down there's a constant spectacle of flashes and pulses, an entire language of light that we can't understand. Signals for hunting, mating, warning, trapping. The deep ocean isn't dark. It's full of a language we don't speak. And all this is just the beginning, because below this zone lies a place where the rules of biology cease to apply. Part 2. The Dark Desert. Welcome to the Abyssal Zone. From 4,000 to 6,000 meters. The temperature is constantly between 1 and 4 degrees Celsius. The pressure is equivalent to hundreds of elephants on every square centimeter of your body. Not a single photon of light penetrates. And food is so scarce that organisms can go years without eating. This is not an ocean. It is a frozen, crushing, and black desert. The ogre fish, Anoplagaster cornuta, has the largest teeth of any fish in the ocean, proportionally speaking. Its head is a compact mass of jaws and fangs so enormous that it has developed special cavities in its skull for its lower teeth to fit into when it closes its mouth, because otherwise its brain would be pierced. Its eyes are no longer functional for detailed vision. Instead, it detects vibrations and pressure changes in the water. It senses its prey before it sees it, and it is so adapted to extreme pressure that if you bring it to the surface, its body deforms and disintegrates. It cannot exist in our world. Osedax worms, whose name means bone eater, represent perhaps the most disturbing form of feeding in the deep sea. When a whale dies and its carcass sinks to the bottom, an event called a whale fall, Osedax are the first colonizers. They have no mouth, stomach, or digestive system. They extend root-like structures that penetrate the whale's bones and secrete acid that dissolves the bone tissue to access the fat stored inside. They feed on the bones of dead giants by dissolving them with acid. A single whale skeleton can sustain a colony for decades. The Dumbo octopus of the genus Grimpeteuthis looks adorable with its two fins that resemble the ears of Disney's elephant. It moves with hypnotic elegance in the darkness. But it is a predator that lives at depths of over 4,000 meters, where no other octopus survives. When it finds prey, it pounces and completely envelops it with its tentacles, which are joined by a membrane. It swallows it whole and alive. Behind that cute appearance is a predator calibrated for a merciless world. Giant isopods, Bathynomus giganteus, are basically marine cockroaches the size of a football, scavengers that roam the seabed looking for anything dead. Their metabolism is so efficient that they can survive for years without eating. In a Japanese laboratory, a captive isopod went 5 years without ingesting a single bite before dying. 5 years. Its body simply enters such an extreme energy-saving mode that it barely uses any resources. All of this connects to a phenomenon called deep-sea gigantism. For reasons we don't fully understand, many creatures of the deep grow to enormous sizes. Isopods are giants. Sea spiders can have legs half a meter long. Squid reach mythical dimensions. The cold slows metabolism and allows for prolonged growth. The scarcity of predators reduces the pressure on size. But the truth is, we don't know for sure. The deep holds its secrets. Now, I need you to prepare, because what's coming is beyond anything we've ever seen. We're going to the final level, to the deepest, darkest, and most inaccessible place on the planet. Part 3. The Limit of Life. The Hadal Zone. Named after the Greek Hades, from 6,000 meters to the absolute bottom of the ocean. We are in the ocean trenches, abyssal chasms where tectonic plates sink one beneath the other. The Mariana Trench, at its deepest point, the Challenger Deep, reaches 10,994 meters. If you place Mount Everest at its bottom, the summit would still be more than 2 kilometers below the surface, and against all logic, there is life here. The Mariana snailfish, Pseudoliparis swirei, is the deepest living fish ever recorded, reaching almost 8,000 meters. It has no fangs, no enormous eyes, no monstrous jaws. It is small, translucent, almost ethereal. It appears to be made of gelatin, yet it withstands a pressure of 1,100 atmospheres, enough to crush any conventional submarine. Its gelatinous body is not a weakness, but an evolutionary marvel. Lacking internal gas-filled spaces, the pressure passes through it without destroying it. And in the seabed sediments, amphipods, tiny crustaceans, have been found with something no one expected inside their intestines: microplastics. In the most remote corner of the planet, fragments of human-made plastic were discovered. Fibers from clothing, remnants of packaging, everyday objects that traveled 11 kilometers to the gut of a creature in the most isolated place on Earth. This demonstrates that there is no corner of the planet we have left untouched. Xenophyophores are even stranger. They are single-celled organisms that can grow to the size of a human hand. These giant single cells carpet the bottom of trenches, creating alien landscapes. Their structure is a spongy network of minerals and sediment. When scientists first saw them in underwater images, they thought they were mineral formations, not living creatures. They are so far removed from what we understand as life that we didn't even recognize them. But the most astonishing feature of the deep Pacific is its hydrothermal vents, cracks in the Earth's crust where water bursts forth at 400 degrees Celsius, laden with volcanic minerals. Entire ecosystems thrive around them, functioning without sunlight and fueled by chemosynthesis. Bacteria obtain energy from chemical reactions with volcanic minerals, sustaining entire food chains in total darkness. Giant tube worms, Riftia pachyptila, grow to over 1.5 meters long without a mouth or digestive system. Their bodies house chemosynthetic bacteria that provide them with all their energy. Yeti crabs, Kiwa hirsuta, cultivate bacteria on the filaments of their claws and then eat them. They are microscopic farmers. Ace and the blind shrimp that surround hydrothermal vents have lost their eyes, but developed an organ that detects infrared radiation. They see heat. They have reinvented vision. These ecosystems forced us to rethink a fundamental question. For centuries, we assumed that life needed sunlight, but hydrothermal vents demonstrate that life thrives in total darkness, fueled by planetary chemical energy. And that changes everything when we look to space. Moons like Europa and Enceladus have oceans beneath their ice where the same conditions could exist. The creatures of the deep Pacific are proof that life can exist in places we once thought impossible. And if it exists here, the question of whether we are alone takes on a new urgency. Everything you just heard comes from the 5 to 10% of the ocean floor we've studied. We know the surface of Mars better than our own ocean. Every time a vehicle descends into the depths of the Pacific, it finds unknown species. What's truly terrifying isn't what we've discovered, but what's still down there waiting in the darkness. And while those creatures wait, deep-sea mining and pollution are already reaching the deepest trenches, destroying ecosystems we haven't even known about. If this journey into the abyss fascinated you as much as it did me, leave a like and subscribe, because this is just the tip of the iceberg of what the ocean hides.